What's going on, everyone? James Lott here, aka JT, and this is not going to be your typical free tip Friday. Due to everything that's going on, I thought that it was only right as a person of color, someone who is half black, half Mexican, raised by a black father and a Mexican mother, that it's only right that I express my opinion on what's going on. You can listen, you don't have to listen. That's all we've been hearing in the news, on TV for the past week or so. But I can't sit here in silence. I've taken a step back from social media for the last few days because I've gotten a little frustrated and a little emotional at times watching everything that's going on, seeing how things are transpiring in different areas. And I want to say, in regards to the Black Lives Matter movement, unfortunately, I've seen a lot of videos in Orange County specifically. That is where I live. That is where I have been a resident of for the last 10 years. Well, wow, 11 years, since 2008 when I moved to Fullerton for college. But places in like Laguna, Huntington Beach, people have been protesting against Black Lives Matter, counter-protesting. And look, I understand when people say Black Lives Matter. If you're not black, you might feel offended, as if there is an attack towards you. But listen, that's not the point. You're missing the whole point. When people say Black Lives Matter, it shouldn't even be a question about whether or not all lives matter. Obviously, all lives matter, and that is not what Black Lives Matter, that's not what they're saying. They're not saying that only Black Lives Matter. If that was the case, that's what they would be saying. So when you say all lives matter, or when you try to discount the Black Lives Matter movement, that is proof of the underlying issue of what is causing racism, what is causing the racial disparity in every aspect of life: economic, education, everything. And if you are struggling to understand why so many people are revolting right now and why people are pissed off, as a person who might not be a minority, I know that it might be hard to understand. But listen, I liken it to when, as a male, we see women, we hear women all the time talk about how painful it is to give birth. As a male, I will never be able to experience that. I will never know what that feels like. But I'm damn sure going to empathize with it, because I see a woman saying that it hurts. I hear a woman saying that it's painful to give birth, screaming in the medical room in the hospital. I'm not going to sit there and say, "Oh, well, why does it hurt? Why did you get pregnant?" Like, what? That that is not the point. I'm definitely going to empathize with it and understand that as a male, I'll never know what that feels like, but I'm going to take her word for it. So when you hear if you're not a minority, when you hear your friends talk about racial issues that they've experienced, feelings that they have, and they're expressing it to you, don't discount their feelings just because you don't understand it. That's not how it works. Take their word for it. They're not lying. Do you think people literally go around looking for issues? Do you think George Floyd, when he woke up the day that he got killed, do you think he was walking around, even though he might have been on drugs or whatever? There's a lot of rumors going on. Do you think his intention was to get killed that day? No. So don't try to look. I've had conversations with people, and a lot of people, not a lot, but some people bring up the idea of self-accountability. And I'm all for self-accountability, 100%. The individual is who makes the best decisions. But when you're looking at a group of people and there is a huge disparity, again, in every aspect of life, you have to pay attention to the root issue. And it's not the people. It's not just the people. It is the systemic oppression of people. And then you might say, oh, well, there's nothing in law today saying that black people or brown people can't do something. Okay, you're right. But you have to look at how any law was even formed up until this point. And you can't act like the effects of past legislation don't have an impact on people now. You have to look at the root of the issue. People tend to judge the fruit, but they don't tend to look at the root. And the root is what causes the fruit. You take two people, raise them in completely different situations, you're going to get a completely different outcome. Myself, I was lucky to be raised by a father who went to college, by a mother who went to college when I was growing up. She went and got her AA, and education was a huge deal. And I grew up in a household where that was an important thing. College was no question. That was a thing for sure that I was going to do, because that was instilled in me. But if I would have been, but you take it someone else who's raised in a completely different situation where they see crime on a regular basis, what do you think is going to happen? So don't just judge that person based on their actions. You have to look at the root cause. And again, I'm all for self-accountability. I'm all for it. But you have to pay attention to the root cause of the issue. And that is how things will get fixed. And I appreciate so many people now speaking about it. And I appreciate the fact that this is now a conversation, because it needs to be done, and it has to be done. And you know, I felt like it was time for me to express it. And this is not even close to everything that I would want to say. I'm open to conversations, but I felt like it was time. You know, some people have asked how come I've kind of gone ghost on, social media, but I was dealing with this in my own type of way. And this is something that I have dealt with personally. Racism is something that I have experienced. The first time I experienced it, I was 6 years old. And I've experienced it continuously throughout my life. And that is a thing. Even though I'm educated now, even though I live in an affluent area in Orange County, it is still apparent. So don't turn a blind eye. Don't act like it's not real. And try to empathize, try to understand. And don't think that people are making up when they're telling you their experiences. So again, I'm open to discussions, but I felt like for today, instead of doing the typical Free Tip Friday, I wanted to express my feelings about this, about what's going on. So yeah, with that being said, I hope everyone stays safe. I hope, people are self-reflecting, learning, researching, and doing the right thing. So I'll talk to you guys soon.